John, go ahead.
Hi, Carolyn. I'm writing an article on food and travel. Is there any food
Okay.
that you miss by being in the bubble?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I can't think of anything in particular. I actually had like coffee from a coffee shop that I like in Vegas sent to me. And so I'm able to like make myself a nice cup of coffee in the morning. That's really important as part of my just like, start the day that way. I find that our food here, I've opted into the meal plan and that switches up quite a bit. So I feel like I'm getting a wide variety. If I had to say anything, it would be like some of my mom's cooking and baking. All my family's together right now at the beach and I'm not with them. So I'm envious of everything that my siblings get to eat. But, you caught me off guard with that one. I can't really think of anything. But I do think the kind of experience of going or sharing that meal with people is probably a little different.
And let's close it out with Las Vegas Aces.com correspondent Cierra Burdick.
Hey, Swords.
Hey!
So my question is, what is your biggest piece of advice for a player who has had previous history with Bill Laimbeer and may have some future time with him? What is the best way to work with Coach Laimbeer to bring out success?
Sure. I think that's a great question. So one of the many things that I really enjoy about playing for Coach Bill is his really demand for excellence. We want to be playing a very intelligent style of basketball and an up-tempo style of basketball. So one that requires that players know their plays and understand what's expected of them. And if you can figure out what it is that your role is within the team, and I urge players, if they're unclear on that, to actually reach out to him and get feedback, because he brings everyone in for a specific reason. Not everyone needs to be Asia Wilson or Kayla McBride or Angel McCautry. I'm here to defend and execute and rebound. I am not going into a game with the same exact goals that Asia Wilson is, but my role is necessary. So I'd say finding your role, playing as hard as you can, knowing the plays, and defense will take you far. How's that?
Awesome, Swords. If you could send me the playbook, that'd be great.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. With that, we will transition to Cierra Burdick. You are free to go, Miss
Okay.
Carolyn.
Thank you.
And there she is, Miss Cierra Burdick at the lovely Legacy Hotel at ING. Cierra, why don't we just start out with, we've had the chance to talk with everybody else on the team over the past 4 weeks about what it was like leading up to getting into the bubble. What has life been like for you outside of the bubble and leading up to getting signed by the Aces here recently?
This past week and a half has been pretty wild, actually, just with the way that everything happened and kind of what I had going on at home. But I've been at my home base in Charlotte since my overseas season ended up getting cut short. And so I've just been at home training. I've got my own youth organization that I've been really working hands-on with. So that between training and then also helping my young players and my girls, that has taken up a lot of my time. And then spending some much needed quality time with family. That was also a big part of kind of the quarantine shelter in place schedule, as I'm sure that was a part of everybody's life. And leading up to getting into the bubble, it's crazy. My mom and I were actually supposed to fly out to Minneapolis this past Thursday. And that's where my mom's from. And so we were actually going for a a family funeral and to spend some time with the family up there. And on the way to the airport, my agent called me and was like, hey, Cierra, do you want to go play some basketball? I'm like, of course, I always want to go play basketball. And he was like, well, do you want to go play some WNBA basketball? And I was like, of course, but who are we talking about? Where are we going? And he said, oh, well, your old friend. And I immediately am thinking, like, no way. There's no way that freaking Bill Lambier has gotten in contact with my agent again and he wants me to come play for him. Because we've had history, obviously, and it hasn't been the best history. So I feel like we have a love-hate relationship. But he's called me back. And, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be back in the W and to just compete against some of the best women in the world. And this is just an awesome opportunity. And so I definitely am grateful and thankful that I did get that call. So I did not get on the flight to head to Minneapolis. I ended up flying to Vegas that night and was in Vegas doing all my medical screening, physicals, exams. And then I flew from Vegas first thing Monday morning, caught a 5 a.m. flight from Vegas to Sarasota, and then was in my off-site quarantine hotel until yesterday. And then yesterday morning, I got to move into the bubble. So now I'm in my in-site quarantine, and I will be doing this until Monday.
John?
Hi, Cierra. Did you have any hesitation about going into the bubble, into seclusion like that for 2 months or whatever it is?
Yes and no. So my only hesitation was the fact that I had this plan to go with my mom to travel to Minneapolis, and I kind of didn't want to let her down and make her travel alone. And that lasted for like 2 minutes until I talked with my mom, and she was like, you'd be crazy to pass this opportunity up. So it was kind of like that, not wanting to let family down for that split second. But then it's like, this is why I've been training since I got home. This is why I spend 6 to 7 days out of the week in the gym. This is what I love to do. So I trusted that the WNBA and the Players Association had done an amazing job of making sure that it was a safe environment to compete, and just going through the week process leading up to the bubble and just the protocols that they're taking. And, I think this might be one of the safest places in the country right now, to be quite frank. And so a little hesitation, but it wasn't long lasting.